Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy. 4 nerds by nerds, hang out with a couple of nerds.
Eric is Ryan.
Nerdarchy is Ted.
Today we have Nerdarchy's tribute to Carrie Fisher as we D&Di's Princess Leia.
Jump down to the description below where you can sign up for Nerdarchy the newsletter. Great way to get gaming tips as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
We want to do a little bit of a memoriam of Carrie Fisher and like who else do we think of first, but obviously Princess Leia, especially with Rogue One just dropping. And so we're inspired to want to D&Di's Princess Leia.
You're not going to try and make her a halfling, are you?
You know what? She would be a great halfling. Getting the reroll ones. She'd have the giant
Let me guess, you want to make her a dwarf?
Yeah.
Of course, man. She's a boss.
That being said, I think she's going to be a human. I
can't argue that one.
A human female.
Definitely female.
Should we go noble?
I would say she absolutely is a noble. She's a princess.
Quite noble.
It's that she's part of the rebellion and the resistance. I can't completely dismiss soldier. She even has rank. She has rank. Throughout the different movies.
Although with the espionage sort of stuff, maybe not necessarily charlatan, but criminal, because when you're a part of a rebellion, that kind of also makes
spy is the variant.
Yeah, spy, like a spy master too.
So she could have spy. She could have noble.
She could have soldier. But I think we should probably settle on what she's most well known for being.
She's a noble.
She's a noble. She's a princess.
Right.
So, all right. Human, noble, class.
She's got a lot of it.
Yeah, so classy.
So there's a couple things that we've talked about. When you see her first in A New Hope, she has no problems pulling out the blaster and shooting stuff. So she's also a general, so she's honestly, unless she really was able to like buy that position, which I don't really feel like that's the case. You need leadership ability. You need to be tactical to be a general.
So we're talking probably a fairly high charisma rogue mastermind, perhaps?
Rogue mastermind would definitely work, but we could also wind up going with College of Valor Bard.
Right.
Because she is definitely inspirational.
Either of those two seems like they would be quite fitting. Like, Fighter Battlemaster, except for she's not super on the front lines. Like, she does wield a blaster rifle, but, she probably settles more into a leadership role as things progress throughout the series. So
there's probably some other ways to do it. Like, but when we're early on discussing this off camera, like part of me is like, she be a Battlemaster because of the tactics and the tactician stuff. And, really, if you choose your superiority maneuvers carefully, you can flavor that however you want. I mean, there's at the very least one of them based off of charisma.
But Rogue Mastermind, spending your bonus action to give somebody else advantage, pretty suitable as well.
She's seen bossing people around throughout the movies, giving orders.
So, like, those orders could very well be her being the bard, and that's how she's quote-unquote inspiring. But she's not trying to lift them up. This is what you need to do.
Yeah.
So, like, I haven't seen a bard being portrayed that way, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you should just go straight rogue and go mastermind. Because, again, like the mastermind ability, it could be the same thing as well. It's not like armor is a consideration, so light armor proficiency, you never really need more than that. Weapon proficiency, well, a blaster pistol is what she used more than anything. And you could easily replace
hand crossbow
with blaster pistol, in my opinion.
I think that makes sense, because they're not, other than the bowcaster that the Wookiees use, there isn't really a crossbow.
No.
The blaster rifle may be called a light crossbow to get that D6 effect, right?
That's fine.
Yeah. That's
well, you just say blaster pistol. I mean, if you're taking D&D and you're going to fling it into the far future.
Actually, far past. It's a long, long time ago.
Well, that's true.
In a galaxy far away.
You're not going to be using swords and maces and axes anyway. So those
sabers.
But only Jedi can wield them, so that's out of the question.
Yeah, so we'll say she's probably pretty well proficient in land vehicles, though, because she showed her proficiency on a speeder bike.
And obviously she's going to have all the social skills.
Yeah, so persuasion and deception, more than likely, those could be her expertises for rogue.
So what about feats? Do we think inspiring leader?
Yes, I was definitely thinking that one.
Because we know she's prone to give speeches.
Yeah.
So.
And even you could double down with not necessarily taking Battle Master levels, but you could take Martial Adept and give her some of those abilities as well, so she gets a little more capabilities on the front line.
That would work as well. Also, what I was thinking about too is, this one's a little bit out in left field, but what about Magic Initiate? She's force sensitive.
Yeah, but she's never in the series. I don't like. She's a little present. Like she can kind of feel things happening, but I don't know if that necessarily translates into like actual spellcasting ability at all.
There's times where she kind of knows a little bit about what's going on, and like particularly in Return of the Jedi when Han tells her, Luke wasn't on that thing when it blew. She's like, oh, I know.
Yeah.
So, like, it's definitely there.
Force Awakens, she feels the passing of Han Solo. Spoiler alert.
Come on. That's been a long time. Rogue One's already out there. If you haven't watched Force Awakens, you don't care.
You probably aren't even watching this video to begin with. Let's be honest. You haven't seen this, too.
Like I said, it was a reach. I don't feel like the right spells are there. If there was like a Magic Initiate for like some light psionics to represent the Force or Jedi stuff, I would lean towards that direction because she's definitely Force
you could
sensitive.
Replace Detect Magic, with something along the same lines, and it definitely makes sense. I like where you're going with it, but we just don't have the right.
Well, maybe it's Magic Initiate for like Cleric, and like isn't there the one that gives you like an extra D4 for some rolls or something, like for skill checks?
Guidance.
Yeah, I was kind of...
guidance. Yeah, actually, guidance wouldn't be terrible because it's just like that idea of like reading situations and knowing. I think guidance is a pretty solid. I don't know what other spells you would round her out with. You get like first.
And that's just a cantrip, so you would get.
One more cantrip, and then you would get...
first level, maybe just like a blesser or something like that. For again, like going that inspiring leader sort of.
So I definitely saw it going either towards cleric or towards psionic, but we don't have the psionic version.
Yes. So you could work something out with that. As a character level, I don't think she's going to be super high, so we don't have to worry about building up all that high. We know that her lowest stat is probably going to be strength, which is going to be basically average,
and then from range,
strong enough to strangle a hut though.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's that as well. Well, actually, when we were talking about like the classes, I'm like, you can't really dismiss her as a warrior either, because she did strangle Jabba the Hutt with chains. So she needs some monk levels.
Although, hey, that fits with the rogue because like sneak attack. It's not. It wouldn't be a finesse weapon. That's annoying for it to count.
Well, Garrett probably is.
Oh, yeah.
She's using the chain as a Garrett.
Yeah. It's an improvised Garrett.
Improvised Garrett, yeah.
Yeah.
How else do you strangle a giant? Or a giant slug?
It's a, extra large Garrett.
Dire
Garrett. For the larger gentleman. She's definitely, she's able to mix it up. And there's definitely other situations throughout it. She also infiltrates... Well, I guess she tries to infiltrate Jabba's palace and isn't very successful because she ends up
then she ends up in the slave girl Leia outfit, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, she actually infiltrates successfully, and it's when she actually takes off the helmet after freeing Han Solo that things
turn sideways.
Yeah. Best laid plans. Princess Leia Organa, human, noble, rogue mastermind. We got Magic Initiate loosely slapped in there. We got Inspiring Leader. Were there any other feats that she needs?
Well, he was talking about potentially Martial Adept.
Yeah, right.
As well.
So that would put her at 8th level if she went straight rogue.
Right. With the possibility. Well, 10th level is another feat if you're a rogue.
Yeah, or stat bump.
Or stat bump. And again, 12 stat bump as well. She might be 10th or 12th level. She's, by the end... She's very proficient.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at it more like...
And also more expertise capabilities as well, so can't dismiss that.
No. I would say I would wind up throwing a knowledge skill in there at some point in time.
So with that, what do you guys think? Did we hit the mark on this D&D Eyes? Let us know in the comments below while you're at it. Like, share, and subscribe.
You can also find us over on Twitter.
You can check us out over on nerdarchy.com.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.